Oh, hello everyone. Welcome back to another ROS tutorial. I just got done with an algorithms assignment, so I thought I'm done coding. Why not code some more? So here we are. This is going to be the tutorial for making a basic publisher and subscriber and getting them to talk to each other. Again, as this is a little bit more complicated of a tutorial, make sure you have watched the, let's list them, the Unix video, the ROS installation video, the ROS framework video on the whiteboard, and then also the creating your first node video. All of those are considered what I would call prereqs for this video. It shouldn't be terribly long, but it will have a little bit more content in terms of just stuff to keep track of. Than others. So we go ahead, share the screen, and we can go ahead and get started. So let's see, last time I guess let me open up VS Code here. Last time we created a basic node that basically just printed to the screen. And our system that we create today isn't going to do much more than that. But it's going to send stuff over a topic. Hopefully you remember what a topic is from the whiteboard video. If you don't, go ahead and watch that again because it's very important, the idea of it, you know. So let's go ahead and make this system. So this was our first node that we made. Very, very basic stuff. We're going to make another node. So go ahead, click on that source, click on new file, and we're going to call this one talker. Or, you know, we'll just go talk.py. Okay. Very, very, again, simple program that we've got going here. Make sure I pulled up the one that I prepared earlier, so I'm not caught off guard here. And it's going to start out very, very similar to the other one. In fact, you can either go over here and copy this line. Remember, this line up top is basically telling, it's telling ROS and this thing here that, hey, I'm writing in Python. Please take my Python input. Please let me write Python code. And then we're going to do an import ROSPy so that we can use those functionalities. And we're going to go down here. And you know what? We can even flat out just copy at least this part. Boom. Throw that in there. And then we can copy the basic structure, that basic structure being the def start, colon, and then rospy.init underscore node for talk. And remember, that's naming the node, so giving it some sort of name. And then we're going to create variables, pubs, and subs here. And then we will have a while not rospy dot is shut down. Sorry. Boom. And then this is where we would do some stuff. Since we'll be doing a publisher here, we're going to want to make sure that we create that rate variable. Okay. So rate equals rospy dot rate. And if any of these lines that I'm writing right now doesn't make sense, please go back and watch that other video. If it didn't make sense the first time, go back and watch it through. If it still doesn't make sense, tell me, leave a comment and say, hey, this didn't make sense. Can you elaborate on it more? And I will probably re-record the video and re-upload it. Or if I'm still at UNL, you can go ahead and just ask me up front. Okay. So we're going to do some stuff here. And then remember, the next thing we're going to do is after we do some stuff, we're going to do a rospy.sleep rate. Actually, my bad. It'll be a rate.sleep. And then outside of this, we'll do a rosspy.spin. Again, basic framework that we got going here. Basic framework. This is basically going to be your template, I guess you could say, for most of the nodes that you'll be creating, especially ones that have a publisher. If it's just a subscriber, we'll get to that, but it again will look very similar. So let's make a publisher, shall we? Fairly simple. The syntax where I'm going to be getting this is off of RosWiki again. It's a little bit more challenging to find, I guess. I guess I could probably find it online, but referencing this code or referencing past code that you've written is good, or I guess you could look at RosWiki for this sort of stuff. Not really that much of a problem. So let's see. Let's have it send out numbers. Numbers are fun. Let's go ahead and make a global num here, and this is Python, so we'll just make a variable that's num, and then below it we'll say num equals 0. And what we're going to do is we're going to publish this number out into the world under a topic to get picked up by a subscriber. Talk is going to be our publisher, if that wasn't clear. So let's make the actual publisher now that we've got this. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to say the name of the publisher. So we're going to say pub to listener equals rosspy dot publisher, capital P, publisher, and then in parentheses, we're going to have the name of the topic and then a data type, and then a queue size. And that might sound confusing, but it's super simple. So we're just going to say that this is nums that we're going to be sending. It's going to be an int 64 is what we're going to go with. Int 64. And then the queue size, I'll get to what int 64 is here in a second. And then the queue size, we'll just do queue underscore size equals 10. The queue size being simpler to explain, I'll explain it now. The idea of a queue size is if your publisher is going too fast for your subscriber or for your network, it will eventually build up stuff. And that queue size 10, as it says, it will allow 10 essentially packets of information to wait in line before it just, if it sees 10, won't send anymore. Sees 10, won't send anymore. So 10 is just kind of standard. You shouldn't really need to worry about that too much. And then what is int 64? So int 64 is going to be the type of data that we're sending along the topic. Now you might be saying, where does that sound familiar from? Well, if you just watched some of the other videos, namely the last one with packages and nodes, it would sound familiar because I said that it's a type of standard message. Remember that the data that's going along with the topic, type of standard message. So we actually need to import something else under RosPy. So we're going to do from, and this is again Python syntax. We're grabbing something select from a package. So from std underscore msgs dot msg from standard messages message import int 64. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to send the int 64 data packets along a topic. That's going to be very key because that's the type of data you're sending. If you're sending a string of numbers, int 64, sending words, string. For instance, RMC uses roboclause. To send a speed command is actually a type of standard message that's in there that we can use for roboclause. So yeah, so we're going to be sending an int 64. This allows us to do it. This is the actual publisher to do it. Now we actually need to publish something. So how would we go about doing that? Let's say that every single tick here, num will iterate by 1. Num equals num plus 1. Cool. And then the next thing we need to do is publish it out into the air. We've already got the publisher to do it. Now we need to say we're going to publish it. So we'll go pub to listener dot publish, and then in parentheses num. And that's it. That is the entire publisher program for what we're going to be using it for right now. So let's go ahead and make a subscriber. So go ahead and make a new file, again, inside the source folder. And we're going to make it listen.py. And it's going to copy this main bit right here. Okay. And then it's actually going to be a lot more simpler than the original one that we did there. Yes. Okay, just had to pull it up on my screen. We can actually copy these first 3 lines here because whenever we're going to be saying, well, it's going to be retrieving an int64, so we might want to have that. And then we're also going to need to do ROSPy stuff. So we're going to need ROSPy. We'll need both of those. So go ahead, throw those guys down there. And again, we can copy over most of that template. This name thing equals main, copy over. There's a lot of copy pasting and coding if you haven't figured that out yet. And then I'm actually just going to, write the rest freehand. So we'll go def start, boom, boom, rospy.init _node, listen. And then we're going to be creating our stuff. And then we actually don't need to have a while loop for this one, as this isn't going to have any main computational functionality. And computational functionality will include publishing to stuff, doing calculations, arithmetic, anything like that. Subscribers don't really need to, and I'll show you why here in a second. So let's go ahead and create that, what do you call it? Oh, create the subscriber. So we'll go rospy.subscriber, spelled that wrong. There we go, subscriber. And what topic is this going to be subscribing on? Well, we know that the topic already is nums from talk.py right here. And it is going to be in int64, basically why we have this line up here. And then we need to basically tell it to do a function. We need to say, when you get something, do this. So we're going to have a callback function that could realistically be whatever you want to call it. We're going to call ours callback. And so we're going to go ahead and make a new function. So def callback. And then, dang it. And then we put stuff in here. So we have rospy.subscriber. It's subscribing to the topic nums. It's going to be receiving an int64. And when it gets that int64, it's going to throw it into callback. So how we're going to represent what it's getting is we're going to say that this is data. And then because of how ROS works, the way we're going to reference that is by doing data.data. So what we're going to do is we're going to print this to the console. We're going to print this number. So what we can do is we can do print data.data. And there we go. That is a subscriber. So we notice that we don't need the while loop because once we instantiate the subscriber will get called and will call callback every single time it gets something from a publisher on the topic nums. So that's that. Let's go ahead and see how this looks in the terminal, right? Let's go ahead and see if what we built will work. Hopefully it does. Or else I'm going to look like a bad teacher. First thing we're going to do is make sure to give those things execute abilities. So we're going to go to, let's kind of go down there a little bit. So let's go into catkin, into the source, into my first package, into source. Can't type today. And then we've got talk and listen. So if you remember the command is chmod plus X for plus executable privileges, and then dot for the directory that we're in, so source, slash, and then if you double tap, tab, it'll give you the options. So there you can see we've got annoying, listen, and talk. So let's give it to talk first. Talk.py, boom. And then we can do the same thing for listen. You'll notice now that both of those are green, which means that they have executability. You know, it's just, I don't know if your color scheme will do that, but this one does. So that's a little tidbit. So we got chmod plus x dot slash listen dot py, boom. And now we're ready to make some magic happen. So go ahead and source your terminal window so that you can use stuff in it. So we're going to do source. We can do, let's see, home directory slash catkin slash devil setup dot bash, boom. And now we can do a cd home directory slash catkin. And then we're going to do a catkin underscore make. Boom, good to go. And now we should be able to do a, well, we need to start everything. So we'll do ROS core. And we'll get this little message saying, hey, it's working. Yay. We love ROS core. And then I'm actually making this a little bit bigger for you guys. And then we are going to be doing, well, we need to source again. Every single terminal you go in. Dot bash. And then we're going to do ROS run. And let's do the talk first. So ROS run, my first package, double tap. We got 3 things we can do. Remember, if we're just going to go ahead and do annoying node, it's just going to hit hi there until we stop it. If we do ROS run my first package and then do talk.py, you'll notice we don't get this green thing, nothing's happening, but this is blinking, which means it's running. So let's go to a new terminal, go ahead and source, which I just went back into commands by hitting the up arrow. And now we're going to do a ROS run my first package, and then we're going to do listen.py. And we should see, one second, something happened. I'm going to figure out what it is. I'll be back in a second. Okay. I found out what I did. I forgot a very key line in the subscriber, and that is my bad. I just completely forgot about it. Now, what happened on this terminal here is it basically went through and then it immediately ended, essentially. It ended by itself, which isn't what we really want to happen. We want this to keep going. So we're actually going to add the line rospy.spin to get that going. I forgot that line. That's my bad. Sorry. But if we go ahead and run this command again, you'll notice that now it's getting a number for every single tick. And it's kind of cool is if we go back here and stop the talk, you'll notice that the numbers have stopped. But if we start the talk again, that's going, and you'll notice these numbers started over again. Back at 1, and they keep going up every single tick. So if we want to see what this looks like, again, we can source, and we can do a ROS node list. And now we've got listen, talk, and ROS out, which you should know what all of those are. And then we can also do a ROS run rqt underscore graph, rqt underscore graph. To see a more graphical representation of what's going on, which should pop up in this window. So we've got 2 nodes. We've got the talk node and we've got the listen node. And talk is sending information over topic nums to listen. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So that's that. That is the basics, very, very basic stuff for publishers and subscribers. I hope you have at least learned something. Again, these are the very, very basics. I might do a little bit more complicated one with roboclause potentially, but it's kind of hard to, do that sort of stuff. I encourage you, again, if you want to look more in depth, go on to Ross Wiki and go through that sort of stuff. Very great learning tool. And with that, I think I will leave this video here. If you liked it, you know the drill. Make sure to throw a like on the video. If I said something wrong, throw it in the comment section. If you're confused on anything, go ahead and throw it in the comment section. Make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. You better do it. Got to get that ad revenue, big brain. And yeah, I think there's only a couple more videos that I really want to get through. So we're nearing the end of the journey. Yeah, so, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.